The moment my father saw the court summons on the kitchen table, his face went from confused to furious in seconds. "What the hell is this?" he demanded, holding up the papers. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "It's me growing up, Dad, just like you told me to." And I watched the color drain from his face as he realized I wasn't bluffing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. My name is Maya, and I'm 29 years old. I work as an accountant at a mid-sized firm in Denver. I live in a modest apartment, drive a 10-year-old Honda, and I've been saving money since I was 16. Not because I'm rich, because I'm terrified of being broke. Growing up, money was always tight. My dad worked construction. My mom was a school secretary. We weren't poor, but we weren't comfortable either. There were times the electricity got shut off, times we ate cereal for dinner. And I swore to myself that would never be my life as an adult. So I saved every birthday, every Christmas, every part-time job in high school and college. I lived at home during college to avoid debt. I worked full-time while getting my accounting degree. By the time I was 29, I had $47,000 in savings. It wasn't a fortune, but it was mine, and I was proud of it. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was my younger brother, Dylan. Dylan is 26, and he's always been the opposite of me. Like, where I saved, he spent. Where I planned, he winged it. Where I worked, he partied. My parents never held him to the same standard. When I was in high school, I had a curfew, chores, expectations. When Dylan was in high school, he came and went as he pleased. He's just finding himself, my mom would say. When I graduated college debt-free, my parents said, "That's great, Maya." When Dylan dropped out after 2 semesters, they said, "College isn't for everyone." And when Dylan racked up $30,000 in credit card debt by age 25, they didn't make him deal with it. They made it my problem. It started 8 months ago. I was at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Dylan wasn't there. He rarely was. My dad was quieter than usual. Halfway through the meal, he cleared his throat. "Maya, I need to talk to you about something," he said. My mom looked nervous. I put down my fork. "Okay. It's about Dylan," my dad continued. "He's in some trouble." I wasn't surprised. Dylan was always in some kind of trouble. DUIs, missed rent payments, bar tabs he couldn't pay. "What kind of trouble?" I asked. "He owes some people money," my dad said carefully. "Credit cards mostly, but it's gotten out of hand." "How much?" I asked. My dad hesitated. "Around $30,000. I stared at him. $30,000? My dad nodded. "How the hell did he rack up $30,000 in debt?" "It doesn't matter how," my mom interjected. "What matters is he needs help." "So help him," I said. "You two have savings." My parents exchanged a look. "We've already helped him twice," my dad said. "We don't have any more to give." And then it clicked. "You want me to give him money?" I said. "Not give," my dad said quickly. "Lend. He'll pay you back." I almost laughed. Dylan had never paid anyone back in his life. "No," I said. My mom's face fell. "Maya, he's your brother." "And he's an adult," I said. "He made these choices. He needs to deal with the consequences." My dad's jaw tightened. "You don't understand. These people he owes, they're not playing around." "Then maybe he should have thought about that before maxing out his credit cards," I said. "Maya," my dad said, his voice sharp now, "we're asking you to help your family." "I am helping," I said, "by not enabling him." My dad slammed his hand on the table. "You've always been selfish," he said. "Always worried about yourself. Your brother needs you, and all you can think about is your precious savings account." I stood up. "I'm leaving," I said. My mom reached for my arm. "Maya, please." I pulled away. I said no, and I left. For 3 weeks, my parents didn't speak to me. No calls, no texts, just silence. I told myself I didn't care, but it hurt. Then, one Tuesday morning, I checked my bank account. I was transferring money to pay rent when I noticed something odd. My savings account balance was lower than it should be. I logged into the full account, and my stomach dropped. The balance wasn't $47,000. It was $14,000. I refreshed the page. Same number, I checked the transaction history, and there it was. One withdrawal, $33,000 made 4 days ago. Authorization code linked to my father's name. I sat there staring at the screen, my hands shaking. He'd taken my money without asking, without telling me. He'd just taken it. I called the bank immediately. I need to report an unauthorized withdrawal, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. The representative pulled up my account. I'm showing a withdrawal of $33,000 made on the 14th, she said. It was authorized by a joint account holder. Joint account holder? I repeated. Yes, it shows here that this is a joint account with Thomas Rivera. My father. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I didn't know this was a joint account, I said. It's been joint since it was opened, she said, back in 2010. 2010. When I was 16, my dad had helped me open my first savings account. I'd been transferring money there ever since, and apparently his name had been on it the whole time. Can I remove him from the account? I asked. Yes, but you'll need to come into a branch with proper identification, and unfortunately, the withdrawal was technically authorized, so we can't reverse it. I hung up, and I started crying, not just because of the money, but because my own father had stolen from me. I drove to my parents' house immediately. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the steering wheel. I didn't call, I didn't text, I just showed up. My dad answered the door. Maya, he said, surprised. Where's my money? I said. His face changed. Guilt, just for a second. Then defensiveness. I can explain, he said. Explain, I said, my voice rising. You stole $33,000 from me. I didn't steal it, he said. I borrowed it. Without asking, because I knew you'd say no. My mom appeared behind him. Maya, please come inside. Let's talk about this calmly. There's nothing to talk about, I said. You took my money and gave it to Dylan. My dad's silence confirmed it. He needed it, my mom said quietly. I needed it, I shouted. That was my money. I saved for 13 years. And we'll pay you back, my dad said. When? I demanded. You just told me 3 weeks ago you don't have any savings left. My dad looked away. We'll figure it out, he mumbled. No, I said. You'll pay me back. Now. We don't have it now, Maya. That's the point. I stared at him. So you stole from me to bail out Dylan, and now you're telling me I just have to wait and hope you'll pay me back someday. My dad's face hardened. You need to grow up, he said. This is what family does. We help each other. Grow up? I repeated, my voice dangerously quiet. Yes. Grow up. Stop acting like a selfish child and understand that sometimes we have to make sacrifices for the people we love. I stood there, shaking with rage. You want me to grow up? I said. Yes, my dad said firmly. Fine, I said. I'll grow up. And I turned and walked back to my car. I sat in my car outside their house for 20 minutes. Part of me wanted to let it go, to just accept that the money was gone and move on. Family is family, right? But the other part of me, the part that had worked 2 jobs through college, the part that had sacrificed and saved and planned for over a decade, that part was screaming. This wasn't about the money, not really. It was about respect. My father had looked me in the eye and told me to grow up, and after stealing from me, after prioritizing my irresponsible brother over his responsible daughter, after treating my hard-earned savings like it was his to take. I pulled out my phone and I called a lawyer. The lawyer's name was Jennifer Park. She specialized in family law and financial disputes. I explained the situation. Do I have a case? I asked. Potentially, she said. Even though it was a joint account, if you can prove that you were the sole contributor and that he took the money without your knowledge or consent, we might be able to argue conversion or breach of fiduciary duty. What does that mean? I asked. It means he took something that belonged to you, even if he technically had access to it. Can I get my money back? We can try, but I'll be honest with you. Family cases like this are complicated. Courts don't like getting involved in family financial disputes. What if I don't care about complicated? I said. What if I just want him to face consequences? She was quiet for a moment. Then we file a civil suit? she said. We make it official. We make it public. And we make him answer for what he did. Let's do it, I said. It took 2 weeks to prepare the paperwork. Jennifer was thorough. We gathered bank statements showing that I was the only one who ever deposited money into the account. We compiled pay stubs, tax returns, everything proving that the $47,000 came from me alone. We documented the withdrawal and the fact that I was never consulted. And then we filed a civil lawsuit against my father for conversion and breach of fiduciary duty, seeking $33,000 in damages plus legal fees. The court summons was delivered to my parents' house on a Tuesday morning. I know because my phone started ringing 30 minutes later. It was my mom. Maya, what have you done? She said, her voice shaking. I'm growing up, Mom, I said, just like Dad told me to. This is insane. You're suing your own father? He stole from me. He's family. Family doesn't steal from each other, I said. Maya, please, you're tearing this family apart. No, Mom, Dad did that when he took my money. She was crying now. Please don't do this, she begged. I'm sorry, Mom, I said, but I'm not backing down. And I hung up. My dad called an hour later. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Maya, this is ridiculous. You need to drop this lawsuit right now. I'm your father. You can't sue me over money. Call me back so we can settle this like adults. I deleted the voicemail. Dylan called next. I did answer that one. What the hell, Maya? He said immediately. What? I said calmly. You're suing Dad? Over money he borrowed? He didn't borrow it, Dylan. He stole it to pay off your debt. I didn't ask him to do that. Didn't you? I said. Didn't you go crying to Mom and Dad about how you were in trouble and needed help? Silence. That's what I thought, I said. You're being a bitch, he said. And you're being a leech, I replied. Anything else? He hung up. 3 days later, my dad showed up at my apartment. I saw him through the peephole. For a moment, I considered not answering, but I opened the door. We need to talk, he said. Talk to my lawyer, I said. I'm not talking to your lawyer. I'm talking to you, my daughter. I stepped aside and let him in. He looked older than I remembered. Tired. You can't actually go through with this, he said. Watch me, I said. Maya, I'm your father. And I'm your daughter, the one you stole from. He flinched. I didn't steal from you. I took money from an account with my name on it. Money I earned, money I saved, money you had no right to touch. Dylan was in trouble, he said. Dylan is always in trouble, I shouted, and you always bail him out. When does it end, Dad? When does he finally have to face consequences? He's your brother. And I'm your daughter, but you've never treated me like I mattered as much as him. My dad looked stunned. That's not true, he said. Isn't it? I said. When have you ever put me first? When have you ever protected my interests the way you protect his? He didn't answer because he couldn't. You told me to grow up, I said quietly. So I am. I'm setting boundaries. I'm demanding respect. And I'm holding you accountable. By suing me? Yes. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he shook his head. I don't even know who you are anymore, he said. Good, I said. Because the person I was before let you walk all over her. And I opened the door. You should leave, I said. He walked out without another word. 2 weeks before the court date, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this Maya Rivera? A woman's voice asked. Yes, I said cautiously. My name is Patricia Cole. I'm a debt collector with Summit Financial. My stomach dropped. I'm calling about an outstanding debt in your name, she continued. I don't have any debt, I said. According to our records, you have a credit card account with a balance of $12,000. That's impossible, I said. I've never opened a credit card with your company. The account was opened in 2019, she said. I can provide you with the account number if you'd like. She read it off. I wrote it down, and then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. What address is listed on this account? She gave me my parents' address. And when was the last payment made? There haven't been any payments, she said. The account is 4 months delinquent. I hung up and immediately pulled my credit report. And there it was. A credit card I'd never opened. In my name, with $12,000 in charges. I called Jennifer immediately. My father didn't just steal my savings, I said. He opened a credit card in my name. That's identity theft, she said. That's a felony. What do I do? You file a police report, she said, and you add it to the lawsuit. I drove to my parents' house that night. I had the credit report in my hand. I didn't knock. I just walked in. My dad was in the living room watching TV. He looked up, startled. Maya. I threw the credit report on the coffee table. You opened a credit card in my name, I said. His face went white. My mom appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Ask him, I said. My dad picked up the report. His hands were shaking. I can explain, he said. You've been saying that a lot lately, I said. So explain. Dylan needed more money, he said quietly. The 33 wasn't enough to cover everything. So I opened a card to cover the rest. In my name, I said. I was going to pay it off before you found out. With what money? I demanded. You already told me you have no savings. He didn't answer. You committed identity theft, I said. That's a felony. You could go to jail. My mom gasped. Maya, you wouldn't. I filed a police report this afternoon, I said. The room went silent. My dad's face crumpled. You're sending me to jail? He whispered. I'm holding you accountable, I said, like you should have done with Dylan years ago. The lawsuit was settled out of court. My father agreed to pay back the full $33,000 plus $8,000 in legal fees and damages. He took out a loan to do it. The money hit my account 3 weeks later. The identity theft case was more complicated. The DA offered my father a plea deal, restitution and probation, no jail time. He took it. He's now paying off the $12,000 credit card debt himself. And he's on probation for 2 years. My mother hasn't spoken to me since. Dylan sent me one text. I hope you're happy. I didn't respond. 6 months later, I got a letter in the mail from Dylan, handwritten. I almost threw it away. But curiosity got the better of me. The letter was short. Maya, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know that I got help. I'm in a debt management program, and I'm working 2 jobs to pay off what's left. I'm also in therapy. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I'm trying to do better. Dylan. I read it 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer. I wasn't ready to forgive him, but maybe someday I would be. It's been a year since I filed the lawsuit. I moved to a new apartment, changed banks, started fresh. The $33,000 is back in my savings, along with everything I've managed to save since. I'm rebuilding. People ask me if I regret it, if I wish I'd handled things differently, and the answer is no, because my father told me to grow up, and that's exactly what I did. Growing up meant setting boundaries. It meant refusing to be a doormat. It meant choosing myself even when it hurt. I haven't spoken to my parents in months. I don't know if I ever will again. And that's okay. Because for the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for their approval. I'm not trying to prove I'm worth as much as Dylan. I'm just living my life on my terms. My dad wanted me to grow up, so I did, and it cost him everything.